Regardless of how you feel about COVID-19, physical distancing orders, or the way in which various governments around the world have responded to the healthcare needs of their citizens, a couple of things are undeniable more than 6 months after this first reared its ugly head. First, the decrease in emissions caused by people travelling less has resulted in some of the lowest air pollution figures we've seen in the world's major cities for more than 100 years. Take Delhi, for example, where air pollution fell by 49% during India's pandemic-induced lockdown. Lower air pollution means better air quality, and of course that means thousands fewer people dying from air pollution caused or exacerbated conditions. But coronavirus has also challenged the way we work. Millions of people around the world who previously were expected to travel to a desk in a large office every day just in order to do their jobs are now working from home instead. And some companies, like Twitter, for example, are even telling their employees now that they can work from home permanently. With the majority of homes now capable of a broadband connection that's good enough to allow face-to-face video conferencing and paper offices becoming a thing of the past, there's no excuse to not work from home if you have a desk-based job. And if you think about it, that could have a massive impact on the way people live. Why face housing poverty in the San Francisco Bay Area if you can telecommute from a far more affordable area with a far better quality of life? Why bother to live in town at all? These are just two of the positives from the COVID-19 crisis, but what if it could make another massive change to the way we live our lives, namely increasing EV adoption rates too? The current CEO of Volvo, Håkan Samuelsson, apologies if I've said that incorrectly, believes so. Speaking at a Financial Times Global Digital Conference recently, he said he believes COVID-19 will actually accelerate, not slow, adoption rates for electric vehicles, saying, quote, "Electrification will go faster. I think it would be naive to believe after some months everything will return to normal and our customers will come back into a showroom asking for diesel cars. They will ask even more for electric cars. And that is speeding up." Given how many millions of people around the world who've lost their jobs and are finding themselves facing what experts say is the greatest financial depression since the 1920s, that statement might be hard to believe, especially in markets like the US, where emission standards have been rolled back, not pushed forwards. But if we look beyond the initial crisis that we find ourselves in today, towards a future where fewer people need to travel away from home for work, where our daily lives are more home-focused, and where more commerce happens online, well, maybe electric vehicle adoption rates increasing is a distinct possibility. For a start, Samuelsson and many others believe that seeing the impact lower emissions has made on our planet will cause those who'd not previously considered electric vehicles to take a step towards plug-in ownership. Surveys I've seen since the pandemic hit definitely seem to suggest that, but I think it's difficult to assume that people will just simply switch to electric when restrictions on our movements are lifted. Yet there are some clear advantages that electric vehicles might have moving forwards. One of them being the way that many companies, including Volvo, are choosing to sell them. Unlike internal combustion engine vehicles, many more electric vehicles are being sold or at least reserved online. That's partly because dealerships still lack appropriate sales experience for electric vehicles, and partly because electric vehicles are being sold as connected devices for a connected lifestyle. But then there's the fact that electric vehicles require far fewer trips to the dealership. If traditional dealership models have ended up losing companies money during the crisis, and they have, switching to a more focused online experience where dealerships are less physical and more mobile has great appeal. And that's a lot more practical with an electric vehicle than with an internal combustion engine vehicle. I mean, just think about it. An internal combustion engine vehicle's traditional service setup requires draining toxic fluids from the vehicle every few thousand miles. After all, why keep an expensive dealership operation in place when there's no way of knowing if similar lockdowns will exist in the future? Why not just have a larger warehouse for new stock inventory that can simply deliver cars as they're ordered or offer wherever you are contactless test drives for potential customers with trained staff on call for any questions? In the same way, fueling an electric vehicle is a far lower risk thing for most electric car owners in a world where there's a dangerous and contagious virus loose. Granted, using public charging stations is similarly risky as using a gas station, but if you're charging at home, you don't have to rely on external infrastructure to fuel your car. And that's one less thing to worry about when it comes to interactions and contact with other people. And because electric vehicles are generally now shipping with over-the-air functionality and batteries getting ever longer lifespans, there's even the possibility that electric vehicles could simply continue to add new functionality, a la Tesla, to ensure that people aren't buying cars as frequently, but still benefiting from the latest and greatest features nonetheless. And that would reduce our material consumption. But there are other things that could suggest Samuelsson is right in the long term. As he noted, quote, "If governments subsidise a return to the old world, I think it would be a waste of money. They should use the money to promote new technology as they were planning to do before Corona." And he has a point. Why go back to how things were when COVID-19 could give you a clean slate? Cities are already closing streets permanently because they've decided the world is nicer with fewer polluting cars on the streets we live. Seattle's done it, it's a good example. So authorities from city level all the way up to whole country governments now have more incentives than ever before to keep things as they are now than to go back the way they were. What's the toughest challenge though? Dropping the price of electric vehicles to make them more affordable for a society hit by what is set to be the largest economic downturn most of us will remember. Nobody, except the wealthiest of folks, will currently be able to afford a $40,000, $50,000 or $60,000 EV for many years after that hits. Let's hope that lower cost batteries that Tesla and others are working on will really change the price of EVs. But that's for another video. That's it. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to help us make more videos like this, then please do like, comment and subscribe. You can send us a couple of dollars our way every month through Patreon, or you can feed our coffee habit with Ko-fi. Thanks to the folks on my right. They are our charged up patrons. You can donate $15 a month to us, and then you'll join them on this scrolling wall. If you donate $50 a month, you'll join Jeffrey Songster, John Lyons and Regine Fellows. They're all in our self-driving level of patronage. They get a free tour of our studio whenever they're in town, and they get extra special goodies from shows. While the top level tier, that's super out of this world, zooming around the solar system in a Tesla Roadster, those are the Starmans, Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, JP Fagerback and Sean Udea, get a personal tour of Portland complete with food whenever they're in town. And we'll make sure it's really good Portland food. If you're looking for something else to watch, Google thinks you might enjoy the video right here. So if you haven't watched it, go and check it out. And I'll be back soon with more content for you all to enjoy. Until next time, wash your hands, stay safe, and keep evolving.